Hello and welcome to Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Okay, I Said Too Much podcast. I feel like I never do it's only been 2 episodes, but I feel like I haven't done real-time updates with you guys to start off episodes. But today, I will say I am feeling this week. I record on Friday nights just because it's the easiest way to get a quiet place to record. And I'm feeling it. I am tired. My energy's a little bit low if you can't even tell. I know I will hit my stride midway through the episode. I always do. But today I'm really physically tired. So hopefully I can keep my energy up for you guys. I'm really excited about this episode. I feel like it's going to end up being a little bit longer than our normal episodes. We are discussing going no contact. And this can be anybody. This can be a loved one, a parent, a friend, just anyone that you feel that isn't being productive in your life anymore and not serving you the way you are serving them. I have currently been no contact. By the time you guys are hearing this, it's going to be 60 plus days. But while I'm recording it, tomorrow marks 60 days. I definitely know how it goes. I definitely know how it feels to kind of bring yourself to that point. So that is what today's episode is about. So as always, grab a shot and stay a while. As you guys know, we always start out our episodes with a trending topic. Usually I have all my episodes planned out ahead of time, kind of know what I'm going to say beforehand. You have to have an outline or I ramble enough as it is, so I have to have a timeline of my episode. But I was sitting here and I was watching TikToks while I kind of just catch my breath and got my head right before I started recording. I am changing my trending topic. It's kind of along the same lines. It's about influencers and all that. If you don't live under a rock, or if you're I won't say that because a lot of people are not on TikTok and so you wouldn't know this, but Tarte flew out a bunch of influencers to go to Dubai. It is an extravagant brand trip, and that's kind of norm. I think a lot of people who are hip to the beauty community now do not remember the ones in the past. If you were deep on beauty TikTok in the past, you know about brand trips. That's nothing new. But now it's starting this conversation because there are so many large Black women in the makeup community on TikTok, and I know there's always a stigma of Black women and women of color, but I will say Tarte did invite women of color, just not Black women. And so there's this conversation going around if you want Black women in these spaces, you have to support them. And that goes more than just liking and scrolling. And I will say I can be bad about this too, just liking and scrolling, because, the bigger TikTokers, they're going to come on your For You page no matter what. And so I have really been taking this last week because I'm trying to grow my TikTok and kind of following everyone I see or everyone who follows me. And I think there's a reason behind this that we just don't really discuss during this conversation. And it's that Black women are much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Cautious with who they support. It's not say Alex Earl's following, where it's the blindly following her to the end of the earth. Everything that woman says, they're going to follow, they're going to purchase, they're going to buy. Don't think Black women look at influencing the same way, because one, there's a lot of goofies out there, and then you can find someone you really like and you really support and you've given their money to, and then This is so ironic that I'm going to say this, but then they get behind a podcast mic and you're like, Jesus Christ, you're goofy. So I think, like I said, Black women are just more cautious where they give their likes, who they subscribe to, who they follow, who they support, who they click on affiliate links for. For me, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. If you're link is in my bio, I'm going to just click the link in your bio because I'm lazy. Okay, there's only a couple creators that could say that to me, and then I will personally go on Amazon and find it, but that's for different reasons. I will say it's just sometimes we don't need to be so cautious of other Black women and other Black creators, and we need to just blindly follow the way, even Monette, like, she's a woman of color, but she has a blind following. Like, people follow her, of course, but I don't really see a lot of TikToks about her on my For You page. But then she went on one date and it was just like people were like blindly invested into this woman's life. Same that comes with like Alex's following. They are blindly into it. They are there. They will follow her to the end of the earth. And I don't think a lot of Black women give other Black women the same, or it takes years to develop that same type of following. I think it would just do us a lot of good to give that same support out that other communities give each other. I don't think, yes, it sucks if someone turns out in the end to not be someone you want to support and, like, you know, help. You're basically helping that person financially. I get that, if that sometimes we don't want to have that like gotcha moment, but it's going to be easier for everyone else. If we help one get up the ladder, it's gonna create more ladders that go all the way down to the bottom. I think we could all benefit from just like, if you see a Black woman, if you see a Black creator on your page, do more than like, because I will say almost every single TikTok I see from another Black creator, I either like or follow, but comment, especially if they're brand deals. I didn't know this, but like commenting and even clicking on the link on their bio, like seeing them being able to come, because I think it's called like magic links, like them being able to come to a company and be like, hey, 3,000 people click on this link. If I give it to them, you need to pay me more. So I think just doing all of those things will help everyone in the community. And this doesn't go just for Black women. Like, if you are white or just a person of color, if you see a Black creator, blindly follow like you would an Alex Earl, anyone else, like just blindly follow them. Don't think about it. That is what I want to say. And like I said, that was not my trending topic for this week at all, but I just felt overcome to say that after watching the TikToks that I had seen while I sat down. So that is my piece for this week of trending topics. And yeah, if you come across this podcast or any of my TikToks, just like and follow. I had to plug myself there, of course. Let's get right into the episode. So this week's episode is all about no contact and no regrets, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how I did it. So recently not recently. Today, while I'm recording this, tomorrow will be 60 days no contact. So about 2 months. It wasn't easy. Like, I'm not going to lie and tell you it's been the easiest 60 days of my life, but I'm going to tell you things I did and kind of the reason why I decided to go no contact. And I think this can trickle down to any type of relationship that you feel this way in. I don't think it needs to be just like a significant other, a situationship, an ex. I think this can be friend, family, anybody that is not treating you how you think you should be treated. What I had to do was, I was at work and something happened, and I just, in that moment, felt so disrespected and so unhappy with what I was dealing with that I was like, am I allowing myself to be this unhappy? The fact that this person still has, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, access to me. Is the fact that this person still has access to me causing me this much stress and this much sadness? And I think when someone isn't caring about you the way you feel you should be cared about, or the way you care about them, parts of you want to fight for it, because it's almost like, I see it, why don't you see it? Like, it's like, I like you, say it back. Like, I love you, say it back. But it's not always going to be that way. I had to give up the feeling of wanting to fight. I had to realize that the fight was like breaking me down. And when I tell you, I have been up ever since. I will say for probably the first 10 days, it was like really hard, because I'm just like a fighter in the sense, for lack of a better way to put it. And so the first 10 days were hard. But when I tell you, I fully believe that like the universe is going to send you lessons. Like, sometimes you can't make it to your goals if you're doing the same things that are going to hold you back. And so once I let go of that situation, I knew I need to let go of. When I tell you, me and this person had been doing this dance since like 2017, the universe was like, girl, you gotta let it go. And once I did, I was so much more in tune with me, my goals, who I was. I was just instantly happier. I felt lighter. I felt like a sense of freedom that I hadn't really felt in a while. And yes, all I wanted to do was text that person and be like, really? I would think I really hit this point at like 25 days where I was like, you're just gonna never let us talk again. You're just gonna never let us talk again. You're gonna let it be that. And we'll never talk again, because I'm not gonna talk to you. I've decided to end that. This is my one petty piece of advice. I will usually never go the petty route, but this is my one petty thing I'm going to say. If you want to see if someone's just going to let you never talk again, this is what you do. So the conversation me and this person had that like made me upset, made me feel disrespected, was on Instagram, like in DMs. And so I just blocked that person on Instagram. I didn't block their number. Like, they have my number. Their number is technically still not blocked. And they just never reached out. They weren't like, oh shit, she blocked me on Instagram. Let me see what's wrong. Let me text her real quick. Let me see if my text will go through. No, none of that. It's kind of petty, but if you want to see their reaction to no contact, don't block them on everything. But I sometimes have to fight having the last word. In 2020, beginning of 2020, I went through a really bad breakup, and I can laugh about this now, but this crap was psycho. Like, oh my God, don't ever do this. This is nothing I recommend. But I would block the person because clearly you disrespected me, you upset me, I don't want anything to do with you, don't contact me. But then I would be sitting at work and I would be like, damn, this is some petty crap. I should send this petty little text. So I would send a petty text, start an argument. So we start arguing back and forth. I would send one really, really good, like, low text and then block them so they couldn't respond, because I have an unhealthy obsession with getting the last word, and that's something I really had to work on. I think with this last incident of going no contact, it was something I really, really had to be very self-aware about, that it is a incorrect coping mechanism to use. Like, you hurt me, so now I have to go low below and hurt your feelings and then block you, because I'm not going to let you say anything back that's going to hurt me again. Like, I'm going to put that wall up right then and there. And that is so it's so unhealthy. And I think I touched on this in my dating episode. I was disappointing myself by doing that. I was literally upsetting myself to fight to be the lower person, for lack of a better word. I know it was just coming from a wounded, hurt place of, I had to make that person feel how I felt. I had to flip it back on them. And I told myself in 2023, I'm not doing that. Okay? We cannot be acting like that. We cannot, like, it's like a temper tantrum, like acting like a child. Like, I have all these emotions and I don't know how to process them, so I'm lashing out and then blocking you before you can even say anything. That's so childish. And so I had to check that. I think the biggest thing when it comes to no contact, whether it's a ex, a friend, family, is realizing that it's okay to not have the last word. It's okay to realize that sometimes I'm just going to be the villain in that story. I'm going to be the person that cut things off, and now I'm the bad guy, but I feel better. I'm happier. At some point in your relationships, when someone's making you feel like crap, that is the only thing that's important, is that I'm happier and I'm removing myself from the situation. What I would do is, then you have to put the energy somewhere, because for me, I'm still going to have all these things I want to say, so I have to put the energy somewhere. And so this is a cool origin story of how I decided that I wanted to start a podcast. 2021, again, went through like a weird breakup situation. I couldn't do that. Like, when I say it was no contact, it was no contact. So I just started saying my emotions out loud. And there's something, and if you don't believe in this, maybe you may not feel the same way, but there's something about just releasing those emotions out into the universe and like letting it just like come all out, like word vomit it out help. And it's like, the issue with having the last word is sometimes you have to realize that you can't go back and forth with someone who's never going to see your point of view, who's never going to get it. Because I think that's more frustrating sometimes, is when you are having the productive conversation and they just don't get it. That'll make you want to slap somebody. Honestly. And so just being able to speak all of these emotions out loud is so, it's like a sigh of relief. And I tell you, I was like doing it one day and I was like, I feel like someone needs to hear this, because that's basically what I'm doing right now. It's like an online journal, but I was like, someone needs to hear this. I think someone could relate to these emotions that I'm feeling. What can I do? Where can I put this to get that outcome? Journaling is always good. Journaling, I will always recommend to people, but sometimes I like to do this in my car a lot. Just talk through your emotions as if you were going to write it down in a journal, but just say it out loud to yourself and talk through it. And I promise you, you will feel like so much relief afterwards, and you won't feel that need to be like, okay, I need to text them and say this and have this argument and speak my mind, because it's going to do the same good as just saying it out loud to yourself. They're not going to hear you. That is one of the things you really have to get over when you're deciding to cut someone out of your life, is having that last word. I'm going to tell you one thing that really helped me with going no contact. It's probably honestly better than blocking. If you get a little bit competitive too, this will be good for you. A while back, I had downloaded the Since app. It's SINCE, like since. How many days since? And there's so many apps for this. You don't need this exact app to do this. I was struggling. I would say about 20 days. Oh my God, probably less than that. I was struggling and I was like, well, let me put this in my app because it helps me so much with the other thing that I have in here. And so I did that. And then you start to have a little game with yourself. It starts to be like, okay, how many days can I go? How many days? Like, you don't want to see that number drop back down to 0. It's like, seeing the days get higher and higher just kind of adds like fuel to the flame. And so it seems like such an easy thing to help, but it really does help. And it changed it for me, because I think once I got to like 45 days, I was like, let's see how long this can go. Let's see how long I can keep this up. And then I think probably at one point I'll get to a certain amount of days so I don't even like think about it anymore. And if I ever stop using it for the other one, then I probably I'd probably just delete the app and I wouldn't think anything of it anymore, because I've already created now that habit of you're just not in my life. And I don't need to be like checking and looking at how many days. It's just what it is. So I think that is if you're going no contact with someone, sometimes just seeing that number climb higher and higher is a little bit of satisfaction to help you get through it. You already know what I'm about to say is my next tip, because I've already talked about it this episode, and I will probably find a way to talk about it in almost every single one of my episodes, and that's blocking people. Like, this is like the healthy version of blocking people, not like what I was talking about before. I don't believe in the you can see me doing better mindset. Like, I don't block people so they can see that I'm living my life and doing this and doing that. I don't believe in that. That's how you end up in like a vicious cycle of like being no contact, talking, and being no contact, talking. I just don't believe in it. I think most of the people that I've gone no contact with, we got like friends of friends of friends. Like, you're going to know that I'm up. Like, you're going to know I'm doing good. Like, you don't have to see that to know that. That's just me. I think just cut it, because what's going to happen is, okay, they're watching your story. Now, when you swipe up to see who's watching your story, you're going to see that they're watching your story. And you're going to tell me you're not going to click on that name at least once. You tell me you're not going to click on that profile once. Girl, block that man or that girl, that ex-friend, that family member. Block them. Block them. And I will say, I'm so bad about this. I kind of blindly give that advice of just blocking people. And it is something you have to work up to, because it's so final. I think when you decide to block someone, it's like you are putting up a wall up for them to not be able to reach you. I think that sometimes scares people a lot, because now it's like, wow, like, yeah, they can't pop back up even if they wanted to because they're blocked. And so it's so final. But it's a hard pill to swallow that sometimes the situation is just not going to get better. People don't typically change. I know that kind of goes against, like, because I definitely feel like I am a changed person. I have a lot better, like, healthier coping skills, and I'm just like, honestly, I'm just mentally a healthier person. But I think when someone is toxic and someone has caused so much rift in your life, people don't change. And you can know, especially if it's like a parent that you're going no contact with, and this has been something you've been dealing with for your whole life. people don't change. People don't just wake up one day and they're like, oh, I want to be a better person. And even if they do, it's not going to change overnight. There's still going to be days where they don't respect your boundaries and just blatantly don't respect you. So I think sometimes cutting off that communication and building that wall up is the best thing to do. I guess I have to be honest with you guys. I decided to unblock the person I went no contact with just because I felt like I didn't need to have the wall up anymore. Because I also realized that I wouldn't put myself in the situation to have my boundaries disrespected anymore. I realized that I can live a life of having that person on the other side of it and not feel the temptation to reach out or talk to them or fix things. I think sometimes when we don't go no contact with someone that we know we should, it's because we just want to fix things. We want some sense of like normalcy back. And I think I'm finally on the other side of the mountain where I'm like, I don't need that. I just don't. Now, are there like other cases of no contact in my life? Yes, I'm not talking to someone right now because it was like I was always reaching out first. So I wasn't gonna reach out first anymore. Wasn't gonna do it. Now if this person spun the block, I'd give it another chance. I'd see what was up. But if someone's disrespecting my boundaries and making me feel like crap, I'm gonna build the wall. Once I feel like I'm on the other side of it, I'm gonna take the wall down. I don't feel a need to be in that person's life. I don't feel a need to have that person in my life. So don't see blocking as like definite for the rest of your life. But I think for the first 60 days, and sometimes depending on the person it is, it might have to be longer. It might have to be 6 months of just having that wall in between you, or permanent where you just can't unblock that person because they don't respect you in any way. This goes on to kind of like my final tip. I'm always like, I'm gonna leave you guys with advice because I feel like it's good to see the up at the end. I think sometimes as women, we just don't trust ourselves. Sometimes we like to take a blind eye to like, this person's making me feel a certain way, not respecting our emotions, our body, our gut, and just going with that. So I think it comes from a place of like wanting to hold on to hope in a situation and wanting to see the good in someone. But I think at some point you have to listen to your body and trust your feelings. I think your body will tell you when it's time to let something go. And a lot of times we try to ignore that. So this doesn't go with like no contact. Like this has nothing to do with it. But I had a really crappy job. I should have got out of that crappy job way before than I actually did. Way before when I actually did. That came out like a jumbled mess. I'm telling you guys, I'm struggling today. My body was like breaking down. I was at night taking ashwagandha and melatonin just to be able to relax enough to go to sleep. Me, who's never stressed, never felt an ounce of like anxiousness in their life, was like, I have an anxiety disorder. Something is wrong with me. And I thought it was all because I was going through like a bad breakup. Like I thought that's what was connected with it. And that could have been it. But I think mainly I was staying in a bad situation that I wasn't happy with far too long. When I finally left, like the 3 days afterwards, I just slept. It's like my body was so beat down. Like I was in constant fight or flight. When I finally was out of it and my body got to relax, it just needed to like recover. And so I just slept for like 72 hours afterwards because my body had been telling me for so long I need to get out of it. We definitely go through that in our relationships. Like I'm telling you, the past 60 days have been the best, like some of the best 60 days. Like I have not regretted a single day. I've not missed out on anything. So many fantastic things have happened to me since. And yes, some days are harder when you have known someone for such a long time. Like I couldn't imagine going no contact with like a parent, a family member. Sometimes it's 100% necessary and you just need to cut it. But there's so many better people around you and ones that don't make you feel shitty all the way down to like where your body is feeling shitty, and they give back what you're giving them. You're not going to be missing out on anything. You're going to be gaining so much more because I'm telling you, you're going to gain like peace of mind. You're going to not feel anxious all the time. You're going to, maybe you felt like the shoe's going to drop, like that shoe's going to drop feeling. You're not going to feel that anymore. I think everyone should just trust their gut a little bit more and take it a step further and like listen to your body. Trust yourself. Listen to your body. Are you acting like you wouldn't normally act? That it makes sense, but you get my drift. Like, just trust yourself. That's what I'm saying. Trust yourself and trust what the signs from the universe are telling you. But don't wait for a special invitation from the universe to tell you to get this bad person out of your life. Just do it. And then just know that the universe is going to show you the signs that was the right thing. You will be okay. Like I always have to say this, you will be okay. It sucks, but you'll be okay. That is my piece of advice for this week. Trust yourself. Respect your own boundaries. Letting someone disrespect your boundaries is you not respecting your own boundaries too as well. So always remember that. Still no jingle, but it is time for this week's song of the week. I think it's just this week. Hopefully I'm back on my game next week, but it was very hard for me to pick a song of the week. I've been kind of in this like writer's block funk, which is odd because I wrote the outline for this episode in like less than 20 minutes. Honestly, probably like 10 minutes. Sometimes when I get a topic and I really want to talk about it, it just flows out of me. But I was stuck on this week's song. I don't always try to match the song with the episode's topic. But as soon as I heard this song play today on my way to work, I was like, yep, that's it. It just like struck me this morning, and that is Love Drought by Beyonce. I don't have any particular line I want to shout out because the song itself is beautiful. If you have been living under a rock and have not heard that song yet, please go listen. It just embodies that emotion of like really trying to love the person you are with or trying to make it work, but that person is doing things you don't want them to do or acting the way you don't care for. I've listened to it plenty of times in these past few months, and it's so powerful, and it's probably one of my favorites by Beyonce. And I feel like it just speaks to my soul. There's a part in it where she's like asking, what did I do wrong and all that. I don't know. I'm probably gonna listen to it after I get done with this, but please go listen to that song. It is beautiful. I think if you have not heard it, it might become one of your like top 5 favorite Beyonce songs. That is my song of the week for this week. Kind of plain, kind of boring. Like I said, I was a little energy, and it was hard for me to pick a song this week, but truly a great one. Ladies, gentlemen, they, them, if someone is not giving you what you need or want, let it go. Go no contact and clear them from your mind. Listen to your body, trust yourself, and stop letting people shit on you. We are no longer allowing these motions in 2023. So go no contact. You will have no regrets, I promise you. And as always, I love you guys, and I will see you in next week's episode. Please do not forget to like, download, play on a super low volume multiple times, review 5 stars only. Please and thank you. I love you guys. Be happy, be safe, and until next week, and I will see you again on Okay, I said too much.